autumn, winter, come truly as of old, with no sunset and morning set, ye hills put on your gold. The song of homeland liveth, dead Solon is not dead. Thy splendid name I valorous o'er realms of suns is spread. But Babylon and Memphis are letters traced in dust. Freedom of tyrants ponder well, the might in which ye trust. They rose while all the depths of guilt their vain creators sounded. They fell because on fraud and force their cornerstones were founded. Truth, mercy, knowledge, justice, are powers that ever stand. They build their temples in the soul and work with God's right hand.
Lawrence, here.
I think we missed it, Francis. Well, it's a shame as well. They were singing such an appropriate hymn of Eliza's too, aren't they?
I know. What, that one?
Spring,
summer, autumn, winter. But they're going. I mean,
They might come back later.
oh, all right.
In the meantime, looks like it's up to us. We are performers as well.
Oh,
after
okay.
all.
Yeah,
Better
that's true.
Introduce ourselves.
Okay, yeah, good idea.
I'm Lawrence.
I'm Frances, and this is Lauren. We are very, very pleased to welcome you to this afternoon's performance of Flowers of the Seasons, Politics, Power and Poverty. Here in the wonderful building of St. John's Ark, just a stone's throw from where Eliza grew up.
Is it?
Yes.
Well, how do you know that?
I know everything, come on. Oh, well, actually, because outside of the house, there's this blue plaque, and it says, Sarah Flower Adams, 1805 to 1848, authoress of the hymn, Nearer My God to Thee, was born here. There you go.
Yes, but that's her younger sister, Sarah, not
Yes.
Eliza.
Yes.
Being sisters, they would have been in the same house, I see.
Yes, he's a tenor. Yes, that's right. Yes, so, you see, this is Eliza here, our featured composer, and she doesn't look a bit like a Victorian lady, all stiff and starched. She's got beautiful curls down to her shoulders, and she's gazing out. You know, it was drawn with love after her death by Mrs. Bridle Fox, who was remembering with love the woman who acted as her mother for many years.
Whereas the other picture you can see here of her sister Sarah was drawn by Margaret Gillis, another Scot like yourself,
Yes.
who also depicted famous feminists of the time, such as Harriet Martineau, for example.
Yes. Harriet Martineau. That's yes. Now they were great friends most of the time.
Ooh.
No. I think we should get Oscar to tell them about that. We've got to get on.
Well, there's one more thing here between them. There's this silhouette of a man's head. So can you tell me-
That man. Yes, you see, between them here, but in their deaths, they were not divided.
The sisters? What do you mean?
Well, it's on their gravestone, you know, the inscription. It says, in their deaths they were not divided. It's an incredible tomb. It's very close to here in Foster Street. Yes. Remember, we went there this morning?
Oh, yes, we did. There was musical inscriptions on it.
Yes, there's music inscribed on it as well.
Make it out, but yes.
Music.
Music.
That's what we're here
That's
for.
what we're meant to be.
That's what we're here for. Yes, I knew there was something. Yeah. What shall we do?
Flowers of the seasons. Let's start with songs of the months. January.
Songs of the months.
February. March.
Yes, March, April. Yeah, I think 12 songs might be a bit many.
Okay, well, let's start with the first season, spring. So let's go for
Spring.
March.
Yes, we're nearly there now, aren't we?
It says on the front it was published.
Oh. Oh, yes. March. They're saying March. We should do March. You're right.
Almost there.
Yes.
It says on the front it was published by J.A. Novello in December of 1834.
Yes. Well, that volume was published in 1834, but in fact, it came out monthly, once, every month during the whole year of 1834 in the monthly repository.
Sounds uncomfortable.
No. It was a journal published by that man. Right.
Well, songs of the months. A musical garland for the hoary head of time.
Time.
Time. Time. Time.
Time.
Time.
Time.
Time.
Time.
Time.
Time. Time. Time. Time. Time. Yes. March. A wizard is he to see temples rise in the upper air. Now they are gone, and a host comes on of blue-men knights and ladies fair. They pass, and a host of spirits grey, are floating onward, floating onward away, away. Blow, March, blow, your time is now. Soon you must heed your noisy breath. Soon we will listen while raindrops glisten to the airs that will murmur of spring's bright wreath. Hum not the buds, that dare to peep, lest April away her sweet life weep. Harm not the buds that dare to peep, lest April away her sweet life should weep. March, 1834. We seem to have storms every month these days, don't we? But in 1834, Eliza was undergoing storms of her own. You can hear it in the music, in that piano part.
Yes, the first half especially reminds me of some of Schubert, like Earl King.
It is. She was very influenced by Schubert. And Mendelssohn.
Well, there's plenty of Mendelssohn. Let's do some Mendelssohn next.
No.
Mendelssohn thought that Eliza was a genius.
Yes, context. He told her to her face that she was indeed a genius, but she would never be famous. He was wrong about that. She called him a very grand man, but not a very good one. We're not doing his music.
Fine.
Okay?
How about Milton's sister, Fanny Hensel?
Now, that's a good idea. Spring.
There's a Frühlingslied in here that
Yes,
would suit you
yes.
beautifully.
Yes, I think the Frühlingslied would be wonderful. Good idea. This is about a nightingale singing. A forest, a beautiful forest in spring. And it's about a maiden who goes into the forest to discover what spring is really about. Blaue, blaue Luft, grüner, grüner Wald. Es zittern die Blumen im Sonnenschein und winken und winken und möchte gebrochen sein. Mädchen, wohin? In den Wald. Nachtigall Klang, Märchengesang und all das Sehen in treuer Brust lässt sich in Leben und Lieb und Lust, lässt sich in Leben und Lieb und Lust. Strömt, jubelt, jubelt dahin im Gesang. Grüner, grüner Wald und nachtiger Klang.
Well, we're going to follow that with some Schubert, who we mentioned earlier. Now, this song is a strange sort of a song with more of a recitative-like beginning and only a tiny bit of melody at the end. It's called Summer Night, Sommernacht, where the poet only remembers the grave of his beloved while walking through the forest and remembering the joyous times he once had there. Wenn der Schimmer von der Monden nun herab in die Wälder sich ergießt, und krieche mit den Düften von der Linde in den Kühlungen wehen. So umschatten mich Gedanken an das Grab meiner Geliebten. Und ich seh voll Dolores dämmern. Und es weht mir von die Blüten nicht her. Ich genoss einst, o ihr Toten, ich genoss es einst mit euch. Sorry?
Well, it's getting a bit grim, isn't it? All that, you know, it's supposed to be summer. That's Sarah Flower Adams' poem, you know. That one that she goes on, it's a summer recollection. She goes on, I see the grove of limes on a sunny summer's day. 'Tis stealing from their silky leaves the honeydew away.
I see the acacia, myriad-leaved, as tall as it would rise to the undivided azure of the pure and steadfast skies. Beneath this starry arch not resteth or is still, but all things hold their march as if by one great will. Moves one, move all, hark to the footfall. On forever. Yon sheaves were once but seed, will ripens into deed, as cave drops swell the streams. Day thoughts feed nightly dreams, and sorrow tracketh wrong, as echo follows song. On forever, hark to the footfall, forever, on forever. By night the stars go by, the hours reveal the train. They whisper and go by, I never watch in vain. Moves one, move all, hark to the footfall. On forever, forever, forever. They pass the cradle head, and there a promise shed. They pass the moist new grave, and bid rank verdure wave. They bear through every clime the harvests of old time. On forever, hark to the footfall, forever, on forever. That was back to the Songs of the Months by Eliza Flower. That was the Song of the Month for August, the harvests of all time. Indeed, a message for all time. And that one was penned in collaboration with Harriet Martineau, who we mentioned earlier.
Harriet Martineau, of course. They wrote songs together that were sung in the street by the workers in protest, weren't they? That famous one. What was that famous one? What was it called?
Where thousands, hundreds of thousands gathered in Birmingham.
Gathering of the Unions.
Gathering of the Unions. Oh.
We
And hark, we raise from sea to sea the sacred watchword liberty. And hark, we raise from sea to sea the sacred watchword liberty. Welcome, Oscar. It's about time as well. Listen, we were just talking about Harriet Martineau.
Oh.
You couldn't tell them a bit about her, could you?
Well, since you asked, if you Google Harriet Martineau, you come up with sociologist, which is very exciting. But it is almost impossible to overstate Martineau's importance as a 19th century thinker, feminist, political figure, abolitionist. Despite her many personal afflictions, including a gradual loss of hearing that she found especially cruel as a songwriter, Martineau was a towering force. But at this time, the early 1830s, also a young woman, new to London, hungry for both friends and fortune. She found the first of these two in the Flower sisters. At times, they were reduced to sleeping 3 to a bed, and for a while she hoped to make her home with them. But what she made instead was this brilliant songwriting partnership with Eliza. First, contributing lyrics to her Songs of the Month, as we've heard, the one for August. Then, a series of political pieces, like the March we've just sung, a song that continued to be heard at demonstrations right across the Anglophone world until the end of the 19th century. In Martineau's letters to her dearest Lisa, as she called her, we get a sense of almost desperate longing for the Flower sisters' company. In Martineau's fiction, we get idealized versions of their girlhood. Now, as you've heard, the Flower sisters were brought up right here in Harlow by their eccentric father, Benjamin Flower. Progressive politics ran in their blood. The Flowers' parents met when Benjamin was in prison for publishing revolutionary sentiments, and their mother had been driven right out of Devon for running a radical boarding school. It doesn't take much in Devon. In 1810, their mother, another Eliza, died. In 1819, when the girls were still in their teens, they moved to Dalston, so things are getting progressively worse. Like many others once in London, the Flowers were drawn into that great centre of gravity for radical religious thought, the Unitarian Chapel in Bishopsgate. And by 1830, when Martineau had also gravitated to that chapel, it had moved to Finsbury in east central London, to South Place, in fact, which would give the society its name for a century, until it later became the Conway Hall Ethical Society, which it remains to this day. Now, the minister responsible for that move to South Place, and responsible for a lot more besides, is that man, as Francis calls him. And at Conway Hall, his picture is the one that takes centre stage above the library, in the fireplace above the library. It's a lot bigger than that of the Flower sisters. As you can see, we have turned the tables a little here. He it was who gave Harriet Martineau her first big break. If it comes to that, he gave Robert Browning and Tennyson their first big breaks. And when Benjamin Flower died in 1829, it was he who became the legal guardian of both the Flower sisters. And his name was William Johnson Fox. More of him later. What matters for now is that, like Martineau, Fox was a political activist and provided Eliza with both lyrics and a platform. He it was who edited that monthly repository we've heard about, and it's not funny, and he used his publishing connections to get out a series of cheap political songs, which were heavily subsidized for mass circulation during the volatile years of the early 1830s. In the run-up to the Great Reform Bill of 1832, which was actually a sort of massive disappointment for most radicals, he published a whole series of these cheap protest songs. The most influential is the one we've already heard a bit of, The Gathering of the Unions.
Raise from sea to sea the sacred watchword liberty, and hark, we raise from sea to sea the sacred watchword liberty.
I was going to say that my personal favourite is not that one, nice as it is, but an absolute earworm for solo performance on street corners. Now, Fox wrote the lyrics, and Eliza provided the tune. You can probably tell she wasn't used to writing for the street, because it's a little bit tricky to sing, but I'll do my best. It is called The Day Labourer's Song, and it goes a little bit like this. My only claim is this, with labour stiff and stark, by mortal turn my bread to earn between the light and dark. My daily bread and nightly bed, my bread and cheese and beer, but all from the hand that holds the land, and none from the overseer, but all from the hand that holds the land, and none from the overseer. No parish money, nor parish loaf, no pauper's life for me. I'm a son of the soil, by rightful toil entitled to my fee. No alms I ask, give me my task by will or arm or leg. I'm strong, I'm bold, and to this I'll hold, to work and not to beg. We're strong, we're bold, and to this we'll hold, to work and not to beg.
Well, if we're up for favourite songs, for the street, my favourite one, unfortunately, is by that man. No. But the thing is, I love it because the way she set it, it's like a Gilbert and Sullivan song, you see? So it's kind of like a patter song. And it takes you back in history to that Magna Carta thing. I don't know if you know. It's quite a long time ago. But anyway, and it goes a bit like this. The Baron's bold. Oh, now, let me see. Yes, it was Runnymede, wasn't it? Yes, let's do it in Runnymede. The Barons bold on Runnymede by union won their charter. True men were they, prepared to bleed, but not the rights to barter. And they swore that England's laws were above a tyrant's word. And they proved that freedom's cause was above a tyrant's sword. Then on we the memory of those bands bold united, and like the bands join hand in hand. Our wrongs shall soon be righted. Now we go to King Charles's time. Okay, King Charles, here we go. The Commons brave in Charles's time by union made the crown fall and showed to the world that royal crime should lead to what's the matter?
What, the downfall of Charles? That's a bit,
Oh, no, I don't know, it's not. No, it's not the one that's there now. It's King Charles, the one without the head.
Chopping Charles.
Yes, Chopping Charles, that's the one. Oh, right, can we get on? The Commons brave in Charles's time by union made the crown fall and showed the world that royal crime should lead to royal downfall. And they swore that rights and laws were above a monarch's word. And they raised the nation's cause above the monarch's sword. Then honor we the memory of those Commons brave united, and let the bands join hearts and hands. Our wrongs shall soon be righted. Good one, isn't it?
Oh, look, you're doing protest songs. I've got another one for you.
Oh, okay.
Quite so much for the street corner. A bit more of an arts song. Here it is.
Oh.
Norman the Forester's song, it's called, by Eliza Flower. And this is taken from one of her settings of Walter Scott's Waverley novels. And this is from the story of the Bride of Lammermuir, or as opera lovers may know it, Lucia di Lammermoor. rise when the matins ring. The abbot may sleep to that chime, but the yeoman must start when the bugles ring. 'Tis time, my heart, 'tis time. There are barks and rays on bill, oh praise, there's a herd on Shortwood shore. But a lily-white doe in the garden goes, a lily-white doe in the garden goes, she's fairly worth them all. The monk must arise when the matins ring. The abbot may sleep to that chime, but the yeoman must start when the bugles ring. 'Tis time, my heart, 'tis time, my heart, 'tis time. Humming his rustic roundelay, the yeoman went on his way, the sound of his voice dying away as the distance increased.
Lawrence, where are you going?
My voice was gradually dying away as the distance.
It's done too much for us, mate. No, look, we're getting distracted. It's that Oscar. We should be singing protest songs. We're supposed to be doing songs of the seasons, aren't we?
Seasons.
And we haven't finished. We've only got to summer.
Well, we've done spring, and yes, we did summer, autumn, and winter. Winter, I have a perfect Schubert winter song called Winterlied, about how even though outside there aren't any flowers left and love has fled the grove, nonetheless, inside they're keeping cosy and there's plenty of love to go around.
Oh, a happy song by Schubert. Goodness. Wait a minute, you can't do that now.
No.
What comes before winter, Lawrence?
Autumn.
Autumn. Now, the perfect one would be, would be in house. You know,
Another funny Hensel one.
Yes.
Idea.
Now, we come back to the forest, but this time it's empty and barren, and love has flown the nest, and despite not being sure why she's there, she feels everything being drawn down into the grave. Der Wald wird voll, die Blätter fallen wie Ed und still der Raum. Die Bächlein nur gehen durch die Buchenhallen, Linter rauschend wie in a Traum. Und Abendglocken schallen fern von des Waldes Saum. Fern von des Waldes Saum. Was wollt ihr mich so wild verlocken in dieser Einsamkeit? Wie in der Heimat klingen diese Glocken aus stiller Kinderzeit. Ich wende mich erschrocken, ich wende mich erschrocken. Ach, was mich liebt, ist weit. So brecht hervor, ihr alten Lieder, und brecht das Herz mir
Kalter Januar, cold January.
What?
We've missed the best bit of winter. Yes, being Christmas, of course.
Christmas.
And
Can we not sing one of Eliza's Christmas? Oh, you do this one.
let's do a little bit of.
Oh, yes.
There's a reason it makes sense to be singing Eliza Flower's sacred music in this very broad church of a building. Because it was during Eliza's years in charge of her chapel's music that its journey from Christian Unitarianism to deism to an ultimately secular identity really began in earnest. In the 1840s, she and Scott produced a 2-volume collection of hymns and anthems, and this became the Society's songbook. This songbook mixes Christian words and imagery with that of completely secular music and lyrics. Eliza borrowed from the latest German composers, whom we've been hearing, and she set texts by poets from Shakespeare to her friend Harriet Martineau, to the radical activist Ebenezer Elliott. We're hearing a bit of him today too. And of course, she composed a lot of the music herself. But just as radical as the content was the way she changed the singing, moving from a standard congregational setup to a mix of having an expert choir and the congregation as the chorus. And she debuted many of these hymns and anthems at a commercial public concert. Indeed, the Sunday concerts that they still hold at Conway Hall are Eliza's legacy, as I suppose is this. The devotional sermons morphed across the 19th century into lectures accompanied by singing. And that was pretty controversial stuff at the time, and there were various splits amongst that community. But this was nothing new. Back before Eliza took over, in fact, there had been a huge fight over whether or not to play the organ after the service. The choir rebelled, and when a new organist was appointed, the old one locked the organ loft and hid the key. More than a year. Frankly, there was always a lot of drama around this particular group of reformers. Sarah Flower had ambitions to become a professional actress, and she performed a few roles in regional theatre. In fact, she even auditioned before a friend of the family, William Macready, hailed as the greatest actor of the age. He was pretty supportive towards Sarah. In the end, it was her health that thwarted her theatrical ambition. But one of the parts she played for Macready was Ophelia's madness scene in Hamlet. Now just keep that in the back of your minds when it comes to the next song. So, we've already heard one of Eliza's Walter Scott songs, and we are going to end this first half of today's performance with another one. In fact, I think for this, we should bring the lights down. It's sort of that kind of a song. Lovely. Taken from Walter Scott's 1814 novel, Waverley, this is one tailor-made for the exuberance of Sarah Flower's acting. It has more than a little of Ophelia about it. It is called Rose Bradwardine's song of St. Swithin's Chair. And I think if you're very lucky, we're going to be joined on stage by St. Swithin's Chair itself, making its Harlow debut. We have this beautiful, ancient performer, covered in ivy. It's a lovely thing. And that ivy is because we are moving from Christmas to Halloween, or perhaps I should say, Hallowmas Eve.
On Hallowmas Eve, ere ye bound ye to rest, ever beware that your couch be blessed. Sign it with cross and sign it with bead. Sing the Ave and say the creed. Sing the Ave and say the creed. For on Hallowmas Eve the night hag will ride, and all her ninefold sweeping on at her side, whether the wind moan lowly or loud, sailing through moonshine, or swathed in a cloud. Then on Hallowmas Eve, ere ye bound ye to rest, ever beware that your couch be blessed. Listen well to my tale. The Baron had been with King Robert his liege these 3 long years in battle and siege. News are there none of his weal or his woe, and fain his lady his fate would know, and fain his lady his fate would know. I had a suggestion. He who dare sit in St. Swithin's chair when the night hag wings the troubled air, questions 3 when he speaks the spell, he may ask, and she will tell. And on Hallowmas Eve, and he bound ye to rest, ever beware that your couch be blessed. Well, the lady she sat in St. Swithin's chair, the dew of the night had damped her hair. Her cheek was pale, oh dear. Her cheek was pale, but resolved and high was the word of her lip and the glance of her eye. She shudders and stops as the spell she speaks. Is it the moody owl that shrieks, or is it that sound betwixt laughter and scream, the voice of the demon, that haunts the street? won't be blessed.
Differing beauty, precious star of differing beauty,
Differing beauty.
differing beauty. Listen.
As we pass.
As we pass,
As we pass.
as we pass, as we pass,
As we pass.
as we pass, as we pass. Marking our place by marking, marking our place by using.
Children of the year, marking our names by
To my sister. Were it not so, I dared not give to thee these pages, for I know full well they ne'er can reach the need of thy mind's serenity. Robed in that dress of thought all poets wear. But thy dear love doth smile on me, past fear. Unto thy very heart these leaves to lay, which richer grow the while they come thee near, for thou dost brighten all upon thy way. And thus, perchance, dowered with thy love and light, they may thy nice requirements satisfy. In thy content, I win a wreath more bright than earth's wide garden ever could supply. Ah, me! I think me still how poor a strain, and fly for refuge to thy love again.
If any single word can sum up the essence of Eliza Flower, her life, her work, then it is love. Sarah's poem, I think, shows us the way. Though she knew romantic love in the shape of the engineer and writer William Bridge Adams, and was more sustained than Eliza was by spiritual devotion, this bond between the sisters was the heartstring of their life. They endured the loss of a mother in childhood, of a father in their 20s. They nursed each other through illness, provided a home and a refuge for each other in troubled times. And certainly no time was more troubled than 1834, when William Fox, still Eliza's guardian, broke with his wife, yet another Eliza, and set up a separate household with Eliza Flower, taking his children with him. Now this completely split South Place, and it cost them many of their friends. Even Harriet Martineau turned her back on the two for many years. Nasty gossip columns were printed in the Times. And at the centre of it all was one vulnerable young woman, Eliza Flower, now not just Fox's collaborator and his secretary, but thrust into the position of mother to his children. We have no actual evidence whether Fox and Eliza were in love, or if their new household was anything other than platonic. Remember, she was still technically, legally, his ward. But what we can say is that she was a good mother to his children, to this found family, somehow herself finding the time and the energy to bring up 3 children. Fox's son Florence, now aged 13, had severely impaired hearing and speech, yet Eliza found the means to educate him, proving fiercely protective of the boy and equipping him with the skills for a career in the civil service that would have been denied to almost any other disabled young person of his generation. Even now, it's a challenge to think, looking back, what systems of communication they must have pioneered together to make that possible. Truly, the love of Eliza Flower was a refuge, But this was not an inward-focused quality. Her feelings turned outwards, directed to the betterment of her society, which was manifestly in dire need of some love and affection in the 1830s and 40s. Perhaps the greatest flowering of this, I promise we would not say that, perhaps the greatest expression of this was the sisters' collaboration for the 1845 Anti-Corn Law League Bazaar, which is a bizarre-sounding thing, I know. Now, you may have heard of the Corn Laws, a protectionist system in place from 1815 to 1846 that effectively blocked the importation of cheap corn and kept prices artificially high for the sake of British farmers, and perhaps for the sake of the aristocrats who owned all the farmland. The result, rather predictably, was poverty and famine. So in 1845, the league that was formed to protest against this held an enormous charity bazaar. But rather than book a church hall, no, they decided to take a 3-week lease on Covent Garden Theatre. The whole place was decked out like a proto-great exhibition. You had theatre boxes that were converted into stalls of ware. They had fabrics and curtains for sale that would run down to the floor to the auditorium like Rapunzel's tresses. Also on sale, as well as things you could buy like that, were a series of songs. The Flower Sisters' free trade songs. Spring, summer, autumn, winter. Their words rooted in the soil of agriculture, but their music rising to the heights. And the League won, by the way. The Corn Laws were abolished the very next year. We're going to hear those 4 songs in a minute, run together as a true song cycle. And we're going to learn, hopefully, from their spirit of optimism amid struggle. I think we could do with a little of that spirit today. And as a starting point to learning from that, we will follow those 4 up with 4 new songs of the seasons, commissioned from 4 contemporary women composers. Our own Frances Lynch, Anna Appleby, Lily Vadano, and Amanda Johnson. So we're going to give you not 4, but 8 seasons, first from 1845, and then from the present day.
Hark the whistle at the plough, hark the sower sing, high above the weary brow, hark the lark is ringing, sunshine promises in showers, golden rain of hope she pours, of dewy nights to summer days, mellow ripening autumn rays. Ploughman, sower cheerily, work on, lo for thee, heaven's smile comes all the while, as the sweet heat air free. Lo, the lark has dropped to earth, where the corn is spring. Sudden silence to her mirth, saddened heart thought bringing. Clouded hopes descend in rain, for heaven's blessing turned to bane. Sickly nights and struggling days, starving, all that toil repays. Ploughman sow wearily, work on, lo for thee, man's hand in yellow showers to gild the ripening grain. Now hie we to the shadowy forest nook, where bowered with hazels sings the brook. Ripple, ripple, on I go, flowers beside me spring, sometimes fast and sometimes slow, ever singing all the joy that dwells in me. I am free, all the joy that dwells in me. I am free. Ripple, ripple, on I go, rill runs on to river, widening to the sea I flow. Who can stay me ever? All the joy that dwells in me, all the joy that dwells, all the joy that dwells in me. I am free, I am free. I am free. Harvest home, over the stubble I heard the call. Harvest home, and I watched the reapers one and all. Each face said plain as plain could be, the harvest ne'er comes home to me. Harvest home, harvest home. Faint and more faintly is heard the call. Harvest home, harvest home. No echo comes from the cottage wall, for there the reaper with aspect wild holds a mouldy crust to a dying child. Harvest home, harvest home. What voice from beneath is heard to call? Harvest home, where the shadow of famine is over all. Death, for the reaper's child has come. Stern landlord, to bear his harvest home. Frosty earth and icy chain, knee-deep snow. Ne'er a day can hide away the hope that lives below. All the while we'll ne'er forget, springtime is coming yet, is coming yet, is coming yet. Springtime is coming yet, is coming yet, is coming yet. Springtime is coming yet. Stony heart and stubborn hand, vain all now. Day by day hope's brightening rays bid budding promise grow. Onward all and ne'er forget, free corn
Spring, spring, spring. Spring. No lark, no whistle, no song, no song. Spring, spring, spring. Spring, she said to the silence. Spring, spring, sowing seeds of sadness, shattering the soil, for a future dream of summer streams, streams of sewage, surfing waves. No autumn harvest, no harvest, no bright scene. No winter. Hope, just cold comfort. But it is spring, 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 spring. Still spring, she said. Spring could be, spring shall be, shall be. He's silent.
You haven't chosen angel yet. The last generation, there's nothing left. We pick up remnants, memories of others. The internet begins to eat itself. You hadn't chose the gas and oil, monetized survival. We still have rain and wind and sun. The future dream has just begun. You then chose the gas and oil, monetized survival. We still have rain and wind and sun. You then chose the gas and oil, monetized survival. We still have rain and wind and sun. The future dream has just begun. You then chose the gas and oil, monetized survival. We still have rain and wind and sun. The future dream has just begun.
The future dream has just begun.
You then chose the gas and oil, monetized survival. We still have rain and wind and sun. The future dream has just begun.
The future dream has just begun. The future dream has just begun.
You then chose the gas and oil, monetized survival. We still have rain and wind and sun. The future dream has just begun.
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 You then chose the gas and oil, monetized survival. We still have rain and wind and sun. The future dream has just begun.
The future dream has just begun. The future dream has just begun. The future dream has just begun. The future dream has just begun. The future dream has just begun. The future dream has just begun. The future dream has just begun. The future dream has just begun. The future dream has just begun.
The internet claims to ease itself.
It will not always be like this. The air windless, a few last leaves, adding the decoration to the trees' shoulders. Braiding the cuffs of the boughs with gold, a bird preening in the lawn's mirror. Having looked up from the day's chores, pause a minute, let the mind take its photograph of the bright scene. The mind take its photograph of the bright scene. The bright scene. Something to wear against the heart in the deep cold, in the quick cold, something to wear against the heart in the dark cold. Something to wear against the heart. A sliver of glass lines the moon like the wet surface sheen of a heart. The cold this year is a new sensation, the type a place feels when all air is inhaled from it. has the end begun? But the water's beginning to freeze again. Shards of feathered crystals shift. As the summer now burns the land and skin, the cold has become a comfort.
Set in motion. Written out a long time ago. Once the speaker starts to read aloud, it is decided the end has begun. The end has begun. My journey towards the end has begun. It is decided the end has begun.
But
The end has begun.
As the song says, the end has begun. We're nearly done, and so is Eliza's story. In the same year that the Corn Laws were repealed, 1846, Eliza died of consumption. Sarah would follow her to the grave 2 years later, a victim of the same illness, compounded with that other great Victorian affliction, a broken heart. Eerily enough, we have a presentiment of that end in Eliza's own words. She describes being at the bedside of a consumptive during her friend's final weeks in a letter to her publisher, Vincent Novello. Eliza wrote that the dying woman lived in a dream, or as she said, a reality of heaven. I thought, with sweet nature's help, I could have carried her through, still smiling in her sleep and dreaming more of heaven. But it came at last. She said the day before, when the little white moth, so softly all things came, settled on the white wild flowers by her pillowhead, she said, "It will fly away tomorrow, and I am quite ready, you know." But some fiend and physical pain tore her to pieces at last, and it was as if an infant, a trusting infant, had been torn to pieces, and no help. Then the horrible and sudden, sharp-wrenching discords of negation. There is much of discord and negation in the end of Eliza's story. Her immediate public legacy, despite the love and admiration of Robert Browning, John Stuart Mill, a reconciliation with Harriet Martineau, despite all of that, her legacy was to be forgotten. And that public concert of 1846, in her final months, was both the first and the last celebration of her work for many years, beyond the tender confines of South Place. We'll leave the final words to Sarah, both in her poetry and in her greatest song, the one thing that has endured unceasing from that time to this, "Nearer, my God, to thee." Tonight, for the first time in centuries, you will hear that hymn as Sarah wrote it, for Eliza's music. For both of them, it was their masterpiece. But just before that, we have another tribute to a brilliant woman who died before her time, their contemporary, Letitia Elizabeth Landon, known as L.E.L. A strikingly gifted writer and Eliza's exact contemporary, Landon penned the song Sleep, Heart of Mine as a lullaby to be sung in her play The Ancestress. On her early traumatic death in 1838, its words formed the perfect epitaph for Landon herself in perhaps the most bewitching of all of Eliza's musical settings. It also works very well as a commentary by Eliza on her own relations with William Fox. Above all, it's just an eternally beautiful song. So, just before we finally hear Nearer My God to Thee, we will have that song, Sleep, Heart of Mine, and the very last of Sarah's poetry.
And when at eventime thou murmurest an old rhyme, to lull the o'erwrought nerves to charmed quiet, soothing to downy rest the poor toil-wearied breast, vexed by the outer world's malicious riot, sweet airs come one by one to learn thy gentle tone, and grateful scatter perfume o'er thy numbers, while sleep stands waiting near, a willing slave to bear a wreath of poppies for the tired one's slumber.
Should love awake thee like a closed rosebud, to thy rest betake thee. Sleep, heart of mine, sleep, sleep. Wherefore art thou beating? Do dreams disturb thy slumbers? Vainest hopes repeating. Sleep, heart of mine, sleep thee without dreaming. Love the beguiler, wearest such false seeming. Sleep, heart of mine, sleep, sleep. But if in thy slumbers breathe one sweet murmur of his charmed numbers, waken, heart of mine, from such dangerous sleeping. Love's haunted vision ever ends in weeping.
Night comes, she seeks her rest. Peace, fold her to thy breast, and loveliest dreams unto her sleep be given. The blessing she has brought, into her soul be wrought. On earth there is no purer, brighter heaven